Order. Order in the court. All rise. That's right. The Poetic Justice / Poetry New West Court is now called to order. The Right Honorable Warren Dean Fulton presiding. You may be seated. Hello, and I see many new faces here today. So this is Poetic Justice, a poetry event that happens weekly here at the Heritage Grill. It began well over a decade ago by Candace, and Francie Lewin was also involved with the starting of it. It originally was hosted at Renaissance Books, then it went to Boston Pizza, and then there was the Poetry New West, which was at Origins Mexican Place, and then we came back here to Heritage Grill. Oh, we were at Heritage Grill, yeah. And then we came back. Yes, that's right, I knew that. And the reason that I know so much about the history of this reading series is that I, Warren Dean Fulton, was the first feature ever! And now I'm the judge. Okay, so.
Warden.
Yeah, I'm not the warden, I'm the judge. I am not a part of the prison system, penal colonies, and all that.
Yeah.
All right, so, All right, so what we do is we run this like a courtroom. Today is going to be really jammed, chock-a-block full. We have a book launch, we have a feature, we have a musical interlude, and then we also have our open mic. Plus, because today's the Oscars, the trivia is all related to poets depicted in film, or poetry films, or films with poems. All right. So, and how we begin, aside from me calling court to order and making you all rise and sit down because it's kind of funny for me, the other thing we always do is I like to acknowledge the fact that we are on unceded Coast Salish territories. The Fraser River was the major transportation route for many indigenous peoples that occupied the lands which are now known as British Columbia. How it got that weird name, it doesn't make any sense to me. It has nothing to do with Columbia, and we are far from being British. But anywho, so I always like to acknowledge the original peoples, the First Nations that have occupied these lands, and that we are guests on their traditional territories. Yes. Secondly, I like to acknowledge the fact that we are in the Heritage Grill, one of the best bastions of supporting the arts in New Westminster. There's music every single night here. I don't know any place else in the Lower Mainland that can say that they have music every single night, live music. None of this stuff, okay? Live music. That was my imitation of a DJ and scratching. Okay? The other thing we like to do is acknowledge the founder, which is Candace James, the poet laureate emerite, who was also, aside from integral in starting this series, and Poetry New West, and Poetry in the Park, and the Royal City Literary Arts Society, which is one of our partners. Our class is what it's also known as. What else? Anything in New Westminster that has poetry attached to it, Candace is to blame. All right. So we like to acknowledge Candace, and we like to acknowledge Candace's poetry empire, publishing empire, Silver Bow Publishing. Okay, and then we acknowledge now we have a partnership through Cynthia Sharp with the British Columbia Federation of Writers. All these really, awesome connections that we have, that we've grown in this community. And then there's this little thing called Puka Press. That's me! All right, I've been publishing little poetry things since 1994. Okay, and then what do? Then we go write it. I don't want to use, who wrote please use surnames too? Who wrote that on there? That is not the way of this series. Open mic people, I refer to you by your first name. Unless I decide to use another name too. Okay, because I'm the judge and I can do that. Then what we do is we have, to make this just more than a simple reading series, we have gifts and prizes for everyone who participates. And that's not just the people who come up here and share a poem. Participation also is answering questions. I will ask some trivia questions. If you know the answer, you raise your hand. I will point at you with the pointy end of the gavel. From up here, I won't actually poke you with it. And then you will give your answer. If your answer is correct, you will hear me say, "That is correct," and you can choose a gift. If it is incorrect, you will hear me say, "I'm sorry, that is incorrect." Okay. And then we got 3 trivia questions, and we'll go right into the book launch, and then we'll have music, then we'll have Robert Martin, then we'll have a little 5-minute recess rather than the standard 10, and those are my poets. So here we go. Trivia question number 1. If you get this trivia question correct, you will receive, this is what your gift is, it's in my pocket. No, don't get weird. Come on. It's $100. I know, you're all looking at me going, "Hey Warren, that's fake." Yes, but hang on to this fake money. Every week, fake money is given out. Twice a year, at the summer solstice and the winter solstice, the individual who has collected, won the most fake money redeems it for $100 Canadian legal tender from my wallet. Now, twice it's been shared by Herb and Nefertiti, and then the last time, Herb won it all on his own. So those two have already taken $300 from me. So let's see who else can take the money. All right. No, that's good. That's good. I like giving money away because I'm like Monty Hall. Let's make a deal. Okay, I'm going to give you a quote from a film. Remember, the topic is poets or poetry in film. All right? I'm going to give you a quote. You're going to identify the film. Yes.
Poetic justice.
I am sorry, that is incorrect. I haven't even read the quote, but here we go. We don't read and write poetry because it's cute. We read and write poetry because we are members of the human race. Yes. Dead Poets Society is correct. Those words were spoken. Those words were spoken by Robin Williams portraying John Keating in the 1989 film directed by Peter Weir, Dead Poets Society. Please come on up and claim your $100. Very good. That was, okay, hey, don't go away. I have to take photographic evidence for the court. Okay, here we go. $100. Yay. Okay, so that film impacted me tremendously. That came out in my first year into university, just graduating from high school, and it had a profound impact on me. I don't know if I would be a poet if it wasn't for that damn film.